Welcome back my YouTube family, my Ghost Recon family, and in today's episode I am going to share with you my favourite attachments for all my guns in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Hope this is useful guys, let's do it! As with everything in Ubisoft games, some things are simple and some things are not, and the attachments do fall into that category where they're kind of in the middle as usual, where there's a lot of things that make sense and there's a few things that just don't make sense. And today I'm going to clarify a few of those before I get into showing you my favorite attachments. So first thing I'm going to go to is the shop, and I'm going to scroll along to attachments. So one of the things that I really do have a issue with a lot of the time is you've got lots of attachments there, but it's not always clear what attachments go on which particular gun. And obviously an SR extended mags is pretty self-explanatory, but for some of these grips and stocks and sights, scopes and whatnot, it's not always clear what gun they go on. So I have been caught out with this in the past, so I'm going to show you a little trick how to get around that and how to figure out what will suit your gun. So if you go to the loadout screen and you go to a gun, doesn't matter what gun it is, whatever gun, we'll say the K1A for instance, we'll just choose that. So if you've got it chosen in your loadout, go to gunsmith, go to whatever barrel you're attachment you're interested in, and we'll go to sights for instance, and click on that, and just scroll down, and it will give you a list of all the sights that you can get for that particular gun. And so that's how you figure out what attachments will work with your gun before you buy them. You can see again there's a few I haven't got here, but it will give you a list with any new gun. If you haven't already got the attachment, it will give you a list, and you can figure out before you purchase whether that sight will work for your gun. Oh sorry, that attachment will work for your gun rather. The second thing to watch out for is not all guns are made the same. So you would, for instance, you would expect that if I've got a sniper, I've got the TAC 50 there, the attachments that I get for a sniper will be different to what I get for an assault rifle. That's pretty makes a lot of sense. What does not make a lot of sense is the fact that I have an assault rifle, the 416, and I have the AK-47 chosen there. And if I go to, again, my sights, my attachment sights, I do favour the EXP3 XG33, okay? Now, I would like to put that on all my guns, but what you find, even though this AK-47 is an assault rifle, that sight is just not available for it. It's not there. So that kind of, I really don't understand why Ubisoft have done that. Why the same attachments aren't available for the same gun types. But yes, just be careful, because even if you get a favourite attachment, it may not be available for all of your guns. The third thing I want to point out is that when you get these weapons that are essentially rewards for doing events or DLC content or whatever it might be, you might find that you're also going to be limited on what you can actually put on this gun. So there might not be as many options. You can see in the underbarrel, there might not be as many options for your gun as there normally would be. And if I look at the underbarrel attachment for the 416 for instance, you'll see that I have an absolute ton to pick from. Whereas with the AK-74, which was essentially a reward I think from Red Patriot, there was only a limited amount of attachments. So onto the good stuff now. Onto the stuff you've come for. What are my favourite attachments? What do I use, and what are my go-to attachments pretty much all the time on most of my guns? Well, recently I've been using the short barrel attachment. Gives me a better time to aim and vertical recoil. And obviously that is at the expense of less range, but I don't mind, because the way I use my assault rifle, I can tell you the range really doesn't make a huge difference. The way I use my assault rifle, this has still got plenty of range, but essentially my assault rifle is my up close and personal weapon anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I always run extended mags on all of my guns. I get into the shop and I buy extended mags for everything. Now it does come at a penalty. Obviously for this one it's reload speed and vertical recoil, but it will get me out of trouble a heck of a lot having a few more bullets in my gun, and so those penalties I'm happy to live with. I generally go with a standard muzzle only because I like to run a silencer, or have the option to take the silencer on and off. I would recommend that if you're looking for a second muzzle, the muzzle brake attachment is fantastic. The hip fire recoil it gives, I found this is a real bonus. So if you don't mind going loud, I would suggest that you use the muzzle brake attachment. The PEQ15 is one that I've always started using recently, and I just swear by this attachment because it gives me minus 30% hip fire recoil, and that's just about the way I play the game. At a pile ×3 was the one I've used for a long time, but more recently the PEQ15 is the one that I am using a lot. The scope that I use, this, like I said, is not standard on all assault rifles, so this really is personal choice. I do like the EXP3XG33, what a mouthful that is, because it has 2 zoom ranges, and I'll show you that in a bit. But yeah, most of the sights are pretty nice with no penalty, which is kind of nice. As far as stocks go, I'll go with a Course EP. Some of these are seem to be just cosmetic, which I can't really figure out why, but I generally go with the vertical recoil, anything that gives me a vertical recoil buff. You can see there as we go through the stocks, you can get horizontal recoil or time to aim. So yeah, stocks, it just whatever you want to get the buff on is what you should choose. I don't really care about how they look, to be honest. Doesn't really bother me. So onto triggers, I usually go a single burst trigger pretty much with all the guns that I use in the game, and then the AFG2 angle foregrip because it gives me the time to aim, and then it gives me another boost to the vertical recoil at the expense of reload speed. So for my ARs, for my SMGs, that's pretty much standard what I would use. The sniper, again, extended mags, extended mags, standard muzzle. The TARS 101, I don't use that. I actually use the TX. Usually use the T5X1 or T5XI scope, or so, and then the bipod, which gives me all kinds of good stuff at the expense of time to aim. Given I'm using my sniper at range, the time to aim is really not a factor. Then finally, I'll show you what I have on my LMG. I love the Stoner. Again, extended mag, standard muzzle, PQ15, the Comp M4 sight. So if you can't get the other one that I used on the 416, I generally go to the Comp M4 sight. And I use the RVG vertical foregrip only because it gives so much improvement to vertical recoil. I think with this one you might also possibly think about putting the muzzle brake on this, because it does bounce around a bit, and in general the LMGs do tend to have a lot of recoil on them. There are the attachments that I favour in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'd love to hear your comments down below, some of the attachment combinations that you might use in your own guns and the weapon types you use them on. If it's been useful, a like rating is always appreciated. If you want to see more of Ghost Recon Breakpoint and Wildlands content, tips and tricks, consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and we will catch you next time on the channel. See ya!